Sup shooters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out a track from an artist named Kizkrash titled Agent Orange. Switching over to here, we got a SoundCloud up. It's a bit of dubstep. It says here's a little bit of hybrid trap, Kizkrash style. So I'm looking forward to listening to this. This should be good. Got Spotify, Instagram, SoundCloud, Apple Music links here. Everything you need to know to find him. Very professional, very, very impressive. Our first impression here, we got the album art here, Kizkrash, dope. Agent Orange, let's go. Listen to some start till finish, and we're gonna hear what we think. Wow, instantly, there's so many different elements there. You've got these sort of synth elements. Let's just go back and listen to that again, see if we can list them, okay? Like we go back to the start. You got a sequence in there, like kind of some kind of 90s kind of Game Boy's kind of pad going on there. We got some kind of like clacking going on. So like some modulated drums in there, hi-hat. That vocal sample is familiar, and I'm not quite sure where I've heard it from, but I think I've heard that sample from somewhere. Oh, those drums are... That 16th note groove is dope, dude. It's kind of overwhelming. I love the intensity of it. I'm loving the dynamic range with it. Oh. That kind of, the way that bass, that sort of synth is panned on the sides is absolutely filthy. I've got a lot of time for that. And there's a nice bit of mid-range to that kick as well, which I can really appreciate. It's just a doom. So doom. It's got a rounder kind of tonality to it. Sidechain pretty well. Oh, a bit of a riser in there. Very subtle though. And going half time in there. We're building. Cool, we are building. I was wondering where we were going with that. Hell of a lead up to it. What I like about this drop is that it is just so straightforward and easy to sort of digest and comprehend. It's so listener friendly as well. Like sometimes with dubstep, like as someone who makes, I adore dubstep. I love making it. Sometimes you get that risk of the kind of screechy synths, or you get like stuff that just sounds a little bit too alien to a lot of listeners. I think that the way these synths have been formed and so put together, I think most people will be able to sort of get behind the basic groove of it. There's a nice texture to them. Like obviously they do sound very digital because obviously they're digital synths, but like you get, there's a bit of sort of a weirdness, sort of a warmth there. I assume that would probably come through the mixing and mastering stage. I'm liking the kind of clappy, kind of snary bit will going on in that drum beat as well. Like it's not, you know, it's not. I know this is sort of hybrid trap, but you know what I mean. I like how there's a short kind of decay on that. Got a lot of time for this actually. Cool, I'm glad we're going to like a bit more of a lo-fi bit with this part. No, not lo-fi in the genre sense. I mean like as in like sort of lower intensity bit. It's good to have those energy levels come up and down. The mixing and mastering in that, as I think I mentioned before, there was a brick wall in there, but as being sort of respectful to the rest of the elements of the production. It's nice to have those samples like yo, those ones coming nice and clear in the mix. Like, it's clearly been compressed, but like these bits here where we're going back to that sort of intro theme. It's like a very, it's kind of a weirdly neutral like theme. I think that's very important because it allows you to do a whole lot of different stuff with the drops and the builds and all that. Not bad. Not bad. I dig it. I can see where we're going with this. A slight variation on the first drop. Yeah, there's a nice low end. These kind of that synth that is kind of the main focus of these drops. There's a nice bit of low end to there. It's you know, like in these headphones, these with 1000 MX3s or whatever I've got from Sony, they're typically they bass boost, which is not always what you want, although it's a really good way to check if you have got too much sub bass in your mix. That's very clean at that part of the frequency spectrum, and it's good. I'm liking how it's like, I know we had the 16th note groove with the drums like in the intro section after the kind of pads and sort of synths came in. But to have this kind of 8th note kind of sequence in this sort of second half of the drop, I think is really cool. I know the hi-hats are acting on the quarters, but and it just finishes like that. I haven't really got any complaints about this one. I think that it's a nice rounded track. It makes sort of musical sense. The drop was interesting and vibrant, and you know, there wasn't, I think that if you'd done more in those drops, it would have been too much. I think that it filled the space up nicely. You know, you can kind of sort of nod your head to it. It's dope, man. It's dope stuff. There was occasionally a moment where I was like, wait, is that, but I think there's just some of the filtering work was like kind of made me think, is that slightly too loud for where it needs to be? And some of like the build parts, but like I think it was just because there were some frequencies that were highlighted above others, you know, and yeah, aside from that, I think it was really well done. And even then, what I just said before wasn't necessarily like a criticism or anything like that. I look at what's happening here with this track, Agent Orange, and I think that like thematically, it's sort of connected all the way through. I'm glad we went back to that intro theme in the second half with the drop. I think those vocal samples worked as sort of like a nice sort of additional instrument sort of layer, and helped keep the pace on the 1, 2, 3 on like the second and fourth beats. Or was this like 1, 2, 3, 4? It might have even been on the ands, like the off beats, not the second and fourths, depending on the tempo of the way it was produced. It'd be cool to see what Kizkrash does next. I'm wondering, he's got a few tracks. He's got a bit of a following, which is really nice. It's good to see someone who's got like good ratio of like fans to tracks. It's really sick. It's a really healthy sort of amount of attention he's getting with this song, especially as obviously like sort of dubstep and all that kind of stuff and the hybrid trap stuff. Yeah, you don't typically get as much attention as it necessarily deserves the amount of work that you put into it. But if Kizkrash continues to develop his craft and continues to put out material on a semi-regular basis, I'm sure he'll continue to reach more people and do well for himself. And yeah, the individual elements within the track themselves were really interesting, and they kind of, what I think is good, and as a final note, I think what was really good is that we had, there was no instrument that was sort of competed against another in the frequency spectrum. They each had their own sort of notch place, and I don't know whether that was down to the EQing decisions or whether it was just because we're specifically looking for tracks that were just in different sort of blocks. But it was considered well, and I think it worked out in the end. That is effectively my review of Kizkrash's Agent Orange. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go check out Kizkrash's stuff on his SoundCloud. Stay cool, stay safe, and please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need all the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spider hands out.